Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome to the underground laboratory where we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. What else do we create? You guys should know that by now if you've been watching. We also create comics. Yes, I am working on a comic book. It's this one, Young and the Dead. This is issue 3. It's a kids versus zombie story. It is in the vein of Goonies and E.T. and Monster Squad, all those great kid adventure movies of the 80s. If you like that, you'll probably like this one. I've got 3 issues available. I'm working on issue 4, and you can find those 3 issues at serkworks.com. But what am I doing this all for? What's the reason for this daily vlog that I keep coming back at you? And if you know that I keep coming back at you, then you probably know what I'm going to say. But this is the 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge, where you spend 30 minutes a day or more every day for 100 days straight working on your own personal comic book project. This challenge, of course, was started by Kevin Cross, who's done this many, many times. This is my 2nd round. And yeah, so making some progress on the book, which is great. But before we go on, we start talking about the book and everything, we need to figure out exactly where we are, where I am. Well, I say we because you're along with me on the journey, hopefully. So we got the big oversized pad of paper, we got the big fat Sharpie, and we're gonna write down what day it is. Today is day 72. Day 72, we jotted that down. Now we know where we're at. So we can get down to the business of making comics. So what am I talking about today? As far as making comics, as far as maybe just art in general, there's a lot of, I think a lot of people maybe just getting into art or whatever, there's this kind of this fear of stealing or borrowing or copying or that, you know, however you want to phrase it. But I think it was Pablo Picasso who said, good artists borrow, great artists steal. So what does that mean? Because obviously you don't want to go outright and just take somebody's artwork, all right? That wouldn't be good, obviously. So what exactly does that mean? Well, I think when you look at it like this, if you want to steal, but you want to steal from multiple sources. And so obviously, if there's an artist you like, say you're a 90s kid, you grew up with Todd McFarlane, you're a big McFarlane fan, and you could care less about almost any other artist. He's your guy, and you study his stuff, and you work on it, and a lot of that's going to come through, but you run the risk of being like a Todd McFarlane clone, all right? But if you have all these different influences, everything, and you borrow little bits here and there, that's the way to steal, because what you end up taking away isn't going to be just like one particular person. You're going to come up with your own style based on that, all right? So that's why I'll go in phases from different artists that I like, you know. I'll be really into one artist in particular at a certain time, then I'll kind of move on. And I've kind of absorbed sort of what I like what's the guy, Absorbing Man? I don't know. There's a superhero. I forgot what his name was, but he absorbs the powers of others and everything. So anyway, yeah. So I think that's what Picasso meant by that. So, and this isn't like well, obviously Picasso said it's not like a new philosophy, but like if you're familiar with like Austin Kleon, he's the guy who takes newspapers and he kind of blocks out letters and makes his own little phrases out of, you know, by subtracting or getting rid of what he doesn't want and making new art out of that. So he wrote that book, Steal Like an Artist. So if you've seen that, it's just kind of a small little book, but he's kind of got that same philosophy, and you know, more or less I totally believe in that. So even like Steve Jobs, what was it that he said? Expose yourself to all, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but expose yourself to all the great things in the world, or take what the best things in the world has to offer. And as you know, I mean, Steve Jobs, he didn't really invent anything new, but he took the best of those things and he improved on it and made it better. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. So there was another quote I heard that, you know, you hear imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Well, I heard another one that said, imitation isn't the sincerest form of flattery. Transformation is. So when you take something that you're inspired by, but you transform it and make something new, I think that's when you start to come into your own and become a great artist. So that's just what I wanted to talk about today, but and just something I'm thinking about, because a lot of people are kind of concerned about that. You're cheating, I hear that a lot. And I don't know, I mean, I guess if you boil it down to the bare essence, if you're totally just ripping somebody off, then yeah, that's kind of like cheating. But I don't think borrowing little bits here and there and coming up with your, because that's how people learn. Anyway, rather than just harp on and on about this, I think you guys get the point. Let's get back to making the comic book. So we're going to see what's going on. To do that, we're going to go up here to the paralleloscope, which allows us to do what? To view alternate realities where the progress of the comic book, Young and the Dead, issue 4, is already in progress. So we're going to check that out. So for my 30 minutes today, I worked on laying out some of the perspective and everything and panels for page 6, but I neglected to record any of that. But I did record some of this, and basically what this is, and if you watched the Artcasters show that I do usually on Wednesdays, and I do that with Kevin Cross and Joshua Kimball, I kind of talked a little bit about, you know, passive income for artists, and you could probably saw me working on some of this, but this is a project that I'm working on. Basically it's going to be like a set of avatars featuring zombies. So I'm going to do 3 different avatar sets, because if you watch this video and pretty much every other one, you'll hear me say that I do robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. So there's going to be 3 sets. I'm going to do an avatar set of zombies, one of robots, and one of aliens. So this is going to be the first one, and it's just basically going to be something that I create that I can use for a multitude of things. Some of it might be like digital rewards that I give away either with when I eventually do Patreon, or I can make stickers out of them, or I'll just have this library of different characters that I can make buttons, and I can do all kinds of things. But I also want to sell the actual pack, so for people who maybe they want to design greeting cards or something on Etsy, or they want to create their own avatar, you know, for social media or whatever, they'll be able to kind of pick and choose and customize their own zombie or robot or alien. So that's something that I'm working on. I have no idea, you know, if I put these things out there, if they'll sell or not. But it's okay, because if it doesn't sell, I still have all these things that I can use for other things. I definitely want to get an email list going, so maybe it's something that if you sign up for my email list, these will be available. But I definitely want to make signing the email list something that people want to do, and maybe along the lines, if they keep subscribed, they'll get more things like this kind of in their email box that they can kind of have fun with and do whatever they want. So it's a little bit different for me, because I'm not so used to the idea of just designing things and giving it away. I always, and I'm trying to change my perspective on this, but I always came at it from, you know, I really need to be, you know, paid before I do this stuff. But then again, I do all this comic book work, and it's, who knows if I ever get paid on that. But so I'm trying to pay a little bit safe by designing all this stuff that I can use and that I can get some value out of, but hopefully offer to other people. And if they like it, you know, they can purchase it. And, you know, I think for what I would charge on a creative market for something like this, somebody could easily make that back designing their own cards, or put it into whatever use they have. So that's kind of what I'm doing here, but I thought I'd show you guys what I'm doing as far as this little zombie set. This is just one part of it. It'll go on, and there'll be other additions to that. But here I want to show you, we went downtown Phoenix. My daughter had a dance recital. So we went to this really cool theater called the Orpheum Theater, downtown Phoenix. And it's this old historic theater. It's about, you know, 100 years old now. If you're more on the East Coast, the 100 years is probably nothing, but out here in Phoenix, it's like one of the older buildings, and it's kind of just the architecture and everything is real cool. So it was cool that my daughter had a chance to perform there. And we just kind of went through and just checked out everything, because it's just, like I said, the architecture is really fascinating and everything, and just the auditorium when you walk in there, it's really cool. It's sort of, I don't know, it's kind of you know, I don't know, Victorian-esque like you would see here, but then it also has this sort of southwestern
murals and things inside the auditorium to kind of bring it into the way things are out here in the Southwest. So it's really, I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to film any of my daughter's performance because they've got professional people filming that. They don't want you to take any pictures in there, but this is kind of after the performance was over. But as you can see, as we kind of pan up, and you'll see as we kind of pan around, you've got kind of sort of the mountains of the Southwest and everything, with all that kind of Victorian, I guess it's Victorian. I'm kind of a neophyte as far as different kind of architectures and things and describing them, but that, to me, that's what it kind of looks like, I guess. But somebody who knows a little more about that could probably correct me. But it was super fun to see her perform on this really cool stage and everything.
Well, what did you guys win? Yes. What did you guys
won? I think we won 4th, 2nd, and 1st.
Okay.
And this is her performing her dance, just practicing. I could film this, of course, because it wasn't at the auditorium, but super proud of her. She did really good on her solo performance. Okay, we are back, and that is going to do it for day 72. So we're going to rip that off a big pad of paper. Do what we do every single day at the end of every single episode. We crumble it up, we toss it in the waste paper basket, and I will see you guys tomorrow for day 73 of 100 Days of Making Comics. That is all. Hey everyone, you've seen the process. Now you can check out the story. Issues 1 through 3 of Young and the Dead are available at my website at serkworks.com. Also follow me on social media at the links listed below. Subscribe and check out some of the other videos in the series. There's much more to come.